the state, around the country, around the world are on the Indiana Fever. And Bria, this is going to be a lot of...
What Caitlin Clark accomplished in just 41 career WNBA games is almost impossible to comprehend when you compare it to the legends who came before her.
There it is! A triple.
Think about this for a second. A milestone that took Diana Taurasi, one of the greatest players in basketball history, 565 games to reach was achieved by Clark in only 41 games. That is not just impressive. That is historic. It is the kind of statistic that forces people to stop and re-evaluate what they are watching in real time. Most players spend years building toward records like these. Clark is doing it before she has even completed the early stages of her professional career.
Having the Fever organization be what it is today, like, it is just so fun to be a part of. There's been a lot of anticipation.
You've done a great job in training camp leading to this moment. Enjoy it. Okay, go out there and have some...
The leap she has made from her rookie season into her sophomore year is becoming one of the most remarkable developments the league has ever seen. Every time she steps on the floor, it feels like another chapter of history is being written. Most people left that game talking about Caitlin Clark's triple-double, and understandably so.
Fourth all-time leading scorer in WNBA history. And in her first game with the Fever, will likely move into third all-time. She's currently just 6 points behind Tina Thompson for third on the all-time scoring chart.
They're special. They represent complete dominance in multiple areas of the game. But what many fans did not realize is that Clark's triple-double was only one piece of a much bigger story. When the final buzzer sounded, a total of 11 records had either been broken or matched by Clark and the Indiana Fever. That is an unbelievable number for a single game.
Who knocks it away, Cookies, DB, open court, right side, and she lays it in!
After reviewing every possession and every important moment from Indiana's demolition of the Chicago Sky, it became clear that this was far more than just another regular season victory. This was a historic night that sent shockwaves throughout the WNBA. Records fell, milestones were reached, and the Fever looked every bit like a team capable of changing the league's landscape.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good! Joanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. And here's the ovation for Bonner.
While most eyes were focused on Caitlin Clark and the excitement surrounding her return to the floor, another incredible storyline was quietly unfolding. Veteran star Joanna Bonner entered the game sitting just 7 points away from one of the most prestigious milestones in WNBA history.
BB is somebody that, she's a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. The strongest voice in our locker room is hers, and it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in. And I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment, and it was really awesome to see and be a part.
About the journey required to reach that moment. 15 years of elite basketball. Thousands of made shots. Countless battles against the best players in the world. And now she was standing on the doorstep of becoming the third leading scorer in league history. It was a career achievement built on consistency, longevity, and excellence. The question before tip-off was whether anyone would even notice Bonner's milestone with all the attention surrounding Clark and the Fever. The basketball world had been consumed by Caitlin Clark headlines for months, and Indiana's growing popularity meant every camera seemed pointed in her direction. Bonner's story deserved attention too. Since entering the league in 2009, she has been one of the most reliable scorers in professional basketball. Through successful runs with Phoenix, Connecticut, and now Indiana, she steadily climbed the all-time scoring ladder. Entering this matchup against Chicago.
Oh, hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an.
She was just one strong performance away from passing Tina Thompson and securing her place among the greatest scorers the game has ever seen. Then the moment finally arrived. Late in the game, Bonner stepped to the free throw line with history hanging in the balance. The arena knew exactly what was at stake. Her first free throw dropped through the net, tying Tina Thompson's mark and bringing the crowd to its feet. But it was the second shot that officially made history. As the ball swished through the basket, Bonner moved past 7,488 career points and became the third highest scorer in WNBA history. It was a beautiful moment that reflected years of dedication and hard work. The Indiana crowd immediately recognized the significance of what they had witnessed. Then the moment finally arrived. Late in the game, Bonner stepped to the free throw line with history hanging in the balance. The arena knew exactly what was at stake. First free throw dropped through the net, tying Tina Thompson's mark and bringing the crowd to its feet. But it was the second shot that officially made history. As the ball swished through the basket, Bonner moved past 7,488 career points and became the third highest scorer in WNBA history. It was a beautiful moment that reflected years of dedication and hard work. The Indiana crowd immediately recognized the significance of what they had witnessed. The standing ovation Bonner received showed exactly how much respect she commands.
Yes, great job of those long arms of the Leah Boston here, going up multiple times and then...
Fans rose to their feet as her accomplishment was announced throughout the arena. It was a reminder that greatness is not only measured by viral highlights and social media attention. Sometimes greatness is built over decades of consistency. Bonner's milestone helped set the tone for what became one of the most memorable nights in Fever history. And amazingly, she is not done climbing the record books. Tina Charles still ahead of her for second place on the all-time scoring list. Another major milestone remains within reach. Yet despite the significance of Bonner's achievement, the night's biggest headlines were still waiting to happen. Another player who made a huge statement was Leah Boston. Before the season began, there were still people questioning just how dominant she could become.
For the season to tip off, it's the Fever against the Chicago Sky. We saw record crowds a season ago, and I'd say they are back and raring to go in 2020.
Boston entered her third season determined to prove that she is more than just a talented young player. She wants to establish herself as a franchise cornerstone and one of the best bigs in basketball. Alongside Caitlin Clark, she represents the foundation of Indiana's future. Chicago arrived confident, especially with Angel Reese publicly expressing confidence in her ability to dominate the paint.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory, and I have 3 words. Oh my God. Or now you.
But once the game began, Boston turned the matchup into a defensive showcase. She blocked shots, controlled the glass, and completely altered Chicago's offensive rhythm. Every time a Sky player attacked the rim, Boston seemed to be waiting. Her timing was impeccable, and her presence alone changed the way Chicago approached every possession. Her final stat line was outstanding, but the rebounding numbers deserve special attention.
In your career, but you had 4 blocks out there. That's more than you ever had in college. Matches your WNBA career high. Felt like you were channeling the spirit of Gabby Marshall out there with the blocks. Is that a part of your game that you've been working on in postseason? Are we going to see more blocks out of you as your career goes on?
Boston finished with 13 rebounds, and those boards were not simply empty statistics. They represented another significant step in her rapid rise through the Fever record books.
Really something you can work on. I don't know, I felt like I had active hands. I had some pokes when our post players were playing good defense, and coaching staff is just challenging me to try to be a better defender every single practice and just getting better in that area. I still feel like there's a lot of room for me to improve. I don't think any of those blocks were too obvious. You know, you look at the stat sheet and it's like, oh wow, 4, but you know, you can get your hand on there and help your teammate out. It makes the world.
Her third season, she has already climbed into 8th place on Indiana's all-time rebounding list.
There it is! A triple.
That is an incredible accomplishment considering the number of talented players who have worn a Fever uniform throughout the years. Add in her 19 points and 5 blocks, and Boston entered extremely exclusive company.
She just absolutely did it all and became a magnet for attention and an icon for sports fans, certainly little girls, certainly mine as well, playing her basketball and watching her play.
Another player in league history had previously recorded at least 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks in his season opener. The chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston was on full display throughout the night. Time after time, Clark found Boston with perfectly timed passes that led to easy baskets. Whether it was a bounce pass through traffic or a high-low feed in transition, the connection looked effortless. On the other end, Boston continued to dominate defensively. Angel Reese managed to collect rebounds, but scoring efficiently against Boston proved much more difficult. Every shot around the rim became a challenge. The matchup many fans had anticipated quickly became a lesson in positioning, timing, and defensive discipline. What happened next elevated the performance to another level entirely. Boston and one of her teammates combined for a defensive record that had never been achieved in a WNBA season opener. It was the type of accomplishment that forces opposing players and coaches to rethink how they attack a defense. Suddenly, Indiana was not just winning games because of offense. They were becoming a team capable of dominating on both ends of the floor.
Regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what did the kids say? Belt to ass? Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-50.
And then there was Caitlin Clark. What she accomplished against Chicago was unlike anything the league had ever seen in a season opener. Not Diana Taurasi. Not Sue Bird. Not Cheryl Swoops. Not any of the legends who helped build the WNBA. Clark managed to accomplish something completely unique. That alone speaks volumes about how special this performance truly was. Entering her sophomore season, expectations were already sky-high. After breaking more than 60 records as a rookie and helping transform Indiana into a playoff team, fans wondered how she could possibly top her first season. The answer came quickly. Clark looked stronger, more confident, and more determined than ever. She entered the game with a clear mission and immediately took control. The fireworks started early. Just minutes into the contest, Clark launched a deep three-pointer from logo range and buried it with ease. The shot energized the crowd and immediately reminded everyone why she is one of the most dangerous offensive players in basketball. Defenders could only shake their heads as the ball splashed through the net, but the scoring was only part of the story. Clark began impacting every area of the game. Her vision was extraordinary. She delivered passes that seemed impossible, finding teammates before defenders even realized they were open. She attacked the boards aggressively, pulling down rebounds despite facing taller opponents. Most surprising of all was her defensive activity. Clark looked determined to prove that she could contribute on both ends of the floor. That determination led to another historic achievement. Clark finished with 4 blocks, the highest total of her professional career and the most blocks ever recorded by a point guard in a WNBA season opener. These were not lucky plays either. They were emphatic defensive stops that energized the crowd and inspired her teammates. Together, Clark and Boston combined for 9 blocks, setting a new opening night record for any duo in league history. A point guard and center teaming up for 9 blocks is something almost nobody could have predicted. As the fourth quarter began, anticipation spread throughout the arena because everyone knew history was within reach. Clark needed only a few more assists and rebounds to secure another triple-double. Every possession suddenly felt significant. Every pass had fans leaning forward in their seats. Every rebound became an opportunity to witness history. The statistics only became more astonishing from there. Clark now has 9 career games with at least 20 points and 10 assists. To fully appreciate that achievement, consider how long it took other legends to reach similar numbers. Players who needed hundreds of games to reach those milestones are now watching Clark do it in barely over 40 contests. That pace is almost impossible to comprehend. What makes Indiana so dangerous is that Clark is not carrying the team alone. Boston continues to improve. Bonner provides veteran leadership. Kelsey Mitchell remains one of the league's best scorers. Lexi Hall keeps developing. Veterans like Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Brianna Turner, and Sydney Colson bring experience and toughness. The roster is filled with talent at every position. Perhaps the most impressive part is how quickly everything is coming together. Young teams usually need time to develop chemistry. Defensive rotations often take months to perfect. Offensive timing typically requires years of experience together. Yet Indiana already looks connected. The spacing is excellent. The ball movement is sharp. The communication is improving every game. They are playing like a team much further along in its development than expected. That is why many people believe this game represented something larger than a single victory. It felt like a glimpse into the future. The Fever are building something special. Watching Clark and Boston grow together feels similar to watching the early stages of other great dynasties before they fully arrived. The foundation is clearly there. The talent is obvious. And if they continue progressing at this rate, the rest of the WNBA could be facing a serious problem. The Indiana Fever did not just beat the Chicago Sky. They delivered a statement to the entire league. A 35-point victory, one of the largest margins in franchise history, combined with 11 record-breaking achievements, created a night that fans will remember for years. Caitlin Clark continued rewriting history. Aaliyah Boston strengthened her case as one of the league's premier young stars. DeWanna Bonner added another legendary accomplishment to her resume. And perhaps most importantly, Indiana showed that its rise is very real. If this is what the Fever look like now, the rest of the league should be wondering what happens when they reach their full potential.